Before we begin this video, we'd like to thank all of our amazing patrons.
It's early morning and it's super calm. So we're gonna actually start getting out of here. First I gotta get Tooth up on the deck, and then we'll get the anchor up and get out of here. So yesterday we explored all that we felt there was to see on Tangier Island. We feel we got a good flavor of what the place is like, and so now we're done. So we're gonna head on towards our next destination, which will be Deltaville, which is on the western shore of Virginia. So that's that. Out of laziness, instead of tying up the mainsail to the boom like I usually do, I'm going to see about just raising the sail the whole way because there's really no wind, so I don't see any reason why having the sail up would be a problem while raising Tooth. Got the anchor up and we are ghosting out of here. We're doing about 0.9 knots, which is pretty good given how there's no wind here. So our bottom had a little bit of growth starting on it along the scum line. It was just some soft growth starting there. But thankfully, because of the storm and all the pounding and lurching around we did at anchor, the bottom's clean now. So we're moving quicker than we would have otherwise. Now today, the wind's out of the northeast, which is great because that means we'll be on a broad reach heading to Deltaville. And if we don't make it because the winds are light today, tomorrow the winds are out of the east, which means we'll be on a beam reach, so we'll still be great. So this is going to be a nice, gentle, calm sail. There's no forecasted storms, everything's supposed to be nice and easy. It's going to be great. So when Maddie gets up, we'll probably put up Dill, which is our drifter, simply because I like to have two people around when we're working with that sail because he's really big. So he's easy to put up, but it's if the wind picks up and we have to bring him down, it's nice to have another person either able to grab a line or at the helm. The wind picked up a little bit, so now we knew it was coming from a set direction. So I raised our jib, which we call Josh, and now we're moving along at 1.8 knots. So Deltaville is 16 miles south and 22 miles away from here because it's on the western shore. So we'll be getting there hopefully today if all goes well. So we're almost around the point of the southern part of Tangier Island where there's the lighthouse, and it marks the southern shoal. And once you're clear of that, then you've exited the Tangier Sound and you're out into the Chesapeake Bay. Now, I must say, this area of the bay is my favorite place to sail, simply because it reminds me so much of the ocean. Because I grew up in Puerto Rico where when you'd go out to a reef or something, the island would look really small on the horizon and there was just water all the way around you in all directions. And if you look around here, you'll see just a smidge of land on the horizon. That's Tangier over there, and everything else is just water the whole way around. You'd think you're in the ocean. So when you're out in the middle of this area, you don't see land on either side. Like if someone woke you up here and said, hey, you're in the ocean, you'd believe them because there's nothing.
We have arisen.
Good morning, Morty. Oh, hello.
Good morning.
And how are you doing today?
Refreshed and ready to sail.
Good.
We're going to use this opportunity where we're barely moving and the seas are really calm for Herbie to teach me how to reef. So I already know what we're doing and I could probably figure it out, but I've never actually done it on my own. So he's going to walk me through it.
So to make this easier for Maddie, we're sheeting in the main. That way the winches she needs to reach are more accessible. Usually when we're reefing, I have to crawl inside the dinghy to reach it, and it's kind of cumbersome. So to make life easier, we're just going to do it this way.
Okay.
Alright, so to reef, what you need to do is you're going to decide which reef you want to put in. So there's first, second, or third. Okay? And if you look up the sail, you'll see the first reef, second reef, and way up there's the third reef.
Right.
Now on the back, at the leech of the sail, you have the first clue, second clue, and third clue.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when we bought the rope, it was cheaper to buy balk, so we bought a lot of red. So they're all the same color. So what you need to do is like pull on them to see which one of those three is being affected. So it's in reverse order this way. So the closest one to you is the third, then the second, then the first reef.
Okay, so this is the third,
That's the third
second,
and first. Yep. So do you want to do the first reef today?
Yeah.
Okay. It's the same for all of them.
Okay.
So you'll worry about that part later. It's just, that's how you identify them.
Okay.
So what you're gonna do first is, for the first reef, you're going to drop the tack point down to here. And you're gonna bring it down until the luff reaches here. So it's a good idea to go grabbing it and pulling it towards you, especially that little white strap. Yeah. So usually you can grab onto the luff rope and pull it towards you. It's just easier to grab.
Okay.
So 4, and then, yeah. And then squeeze a 5th in, and then cleat it. Yeah, there you go. All right, now you're gonna take this rope here, and you're going to pass the end of it through all 3. Yeah, there's 3 loops. You have to go through all 3 of them. Very nice reef.
Yay.
It's nice and flat. The sail's much shorter. And the foot of the sail is totally flat. That's what you want. So you have a very depowered sail that's just going to spill the wind and give you very little drive. That way you don't go out of control. And our sail is broken. We have a torn luff
No.
right at the third reef. Huh. Alright. That ripped out.
Oh my gosh.
Alright.
So the book that I'm on right now is Hotel at the Corner of Bitter and Sweet. This book is really good, and it's quite enlightening about Japanese and Chinese Americans during World War II. So I highly recommend it, and I'm enjoying it thoroughly.
And the book that I'm reading is The Gulf Stream Companion, which tells you pretty much everything about the Gulf Stream and how to navigate through its wonderful currents.
I finally convinced Herbie to help me put up Dill, the drifter, so that we can actually go somewhere, because there's very little wind. So we're going to go ahead and take down Josh, the jib, and put up Dill.
We now have Dill up, but there apparently seems to be less wind than there is current. So we're moving through the water, or we're moving with the water faster than the air is going. So technically we're moving forward through the wind. So our drifter is pretty much plastered against our rigging because it has nowhere else to go. So we're just trying to find the course where a whisper of wind will fill it up, and we'll be sailing and drifting with the current. Let's see. And 2:35 our time is actually plus 5 hours to Greenwich Mean Time, I believe. Numbers. Alright, so our declination is 3 degrees. So, let's see, my reading was 42.15.
I am now protected from the flies, and it's wonderful.
We made it into Deltaville's harbor last night at midnight, and then we took Morty to shore. There's a gorgeous white sand beach over that way, and Morty had a grand time on it. So our next stop is to head into the actual harbor, not just the mouth of the river. And we'll drop the hook in there, row ashore, talk with the marina staff, and figure out which marina and what slip we're gonna go into. And then we'll get the fenders ready, get tied up, and then we'll hang out at that marina for a little bit. So we're gonna be at this marina to provision, make any last repairs, get the sail fixed again, and then we'll leave here and head straight for Bermuda. So this will be our last stop in the Chesapeake before we make our way out into the ocean.
I am making a tuna fish sandwich, which is Morty's favorite. And he knows.
Yeah, he got super excited. The moment Maddie got the can out of the locker, his nose started twitching.
Alright. Yes, Morty, it's coming. Get down. Morty, wave? Oh, that's a good wave, Morty. That's a very good wave. Here you go. There's no more, boy. So we're headed into Deltaville, and we have an incredibly narrow channel that Herbie has to navigate.
Yes, we're motoring as fast as we've ever motored because there's a cross breeze, cross current, and a super narrow channel.
Yeah, you can hear the motor going down there.
Yep.
We're glad that we saved up some motor juice. And we know we can use it because as soon as we get there, we can plug up, plug in. I can't talk this morning. Gonna plug in and recharge everything before we head out for Bermuda. Next time on Sailing Wisdom, we do all we can possibly do to prepare for our trip to Bermuda. Thanks so much for watching, and if you want to become a sailing buddy, you can click the link down below to our Patreon account.
Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. And when you click subscribe, make sure you click on the little bell in the annotation. That way you get notifications as soon as our next video is uploaded.
Thanks so much!